Okay, welcome back. New episode. New one-sided discussion. Okay, so the theme of this topic du jour is collaborations. Musical collaborations, what we're talking about. Now, in the past, and this may still be a condition for some musicians, is the nature of getting together. It may be a thing where in the past, okay, just going quickly here, someone would have to actually physically be in the same location. And then there's the other kind of collaboration where someone sends someone lyrics via snail mail and such, Pony Express. And, one person's lyricist, one person is the musical collaborator. And that's another way. And then with the advent of technology, internet and such, more collaborations are happening via, swapping of files and that kind of thing. And, almost like an offshoot of file swapping, emails with attachments, Zoom meetings and such. Everything augments one another and hopefully leads to better outcomes. But anyway, I digress. So any of these collaborations, and these are dream collaborations, could happen in a live context with the actual human beings being in the same room with the other human beings I'm talking about, which might work in a better way. You become more familiar with the person. There's a little more of, roped in by time zones and all these different things. And the interruptions of daily life. And then, the remote one, I suppose, does offer advantages. It's all to do with scheduling, right? And also with the advent of technology, people don't always have to book a recording studio. It could go there for the final post-production, polishing and tweaking, but it doesn't have to. There's enough software and things out there to get something going. But I like a polished product that is not, a home studio has its own charm, but there's nothing like a really greatly recorded piece of music with engineers and all the recording studio personnel and equipment and ambience. Okay, on to our collaborations. And one more thing as a side note, did you ever have a thing where you were hoping that two musicians would collaborate and then you find out under later examination and info that they're the same person? It was somebody using a pseudonym, And with that, let me just move right along to the real people, separate human beings, coming together in musical harmony. And yes, the pun is intended. Okay, in no specific order, there's no ranking or anything. I would say 1, I'd like Chris and Cozy. These are dream collaborations. They're not going to happen. I don't think that these people know each other. And even if they do, I don't think there's any reaching out. But hey, if this sparks an idea for something, that's wonderful. So here we go. Number 1, Chris and Cozy collaborating with the KVB. 2 husband and wife teams. Knowledgeable in synths, both analog and digital, I'm sure. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Check out their respective catalogs and you'll see what I mean. And this goes for any of them. Tipsy, which is it's Tim Digula, and I thought I wrote his name down. Okay, well anyway, Tipsy is a lounge core, if that's still a term and a genre, act. And they may be on a hiatus. I don't think they ever officially broke up or anything. The last album that they put out is called Buzz ZZZ. I believe that they've both gone on to do a project called, probably going to botch the name, but I think it's Daydream Drinkers. At this point in time, their only musical output is digital. And I believe they have a Bandcamp page. But I would like to see Tipsy working with Kava Khan. I think they're also a duo. And they've had music most famously featured in the first season of Severance on Apple TV+. Excellent, excellent series. And the music caught my attention immediately. I was determined I have to find out who did this. I believe it was listed in the credits. And they just reissued their first album in regular old, good old black vinyl. And, you know, more exotic vinyl. Either one will do. It's really good stuff. Great stuff. Okay, next 3. Nick Edwards, otherwise known as Echoplex, and a couple other pseudonyms. Collaborating with Jack Dangers, he of Meat Beat Manifesto fame. I'd like to see them get together and have a little synth and drum machine party. Wouldn't that be wonderful? 4, Bill Frisell and Bill Nelson. I'm pretty sure that Bill is aware of Bill. I know that Bill Nelson's aware of Bill Frisell, and I personally handed Bill Frisell a couple of Bill Nelson CDs. Think he listened to them. Hope that they do a project together. I'd like to see a project that covered... They're both multifaceted musicians, doing a wide variety of styles. So I'd like to see them kind of touch on that. You know, the quieter, more gentle stuff is great, as is the noisier, atonal stuff. Bill Frisell more than Bill Nelson on that side. But wouldn't a collaboration between the two of them be great? You want to do like an album thing, like one side noisy, one side gentle, ambient kind of stuff? Fine. Every other song, quiet, noisy, that's cool too. Whatever it takes. This may have to be one of those remote location get-togethers. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Hopefully it'll happen. Okay, now, Brian Eno and Iggy Pop did a podcast about a year or so ago, and I may have touched on this in another one of my videos. There's probably a lot of overlap if you were to scrutinize them, but I say Iggy Pop and Brian Eno do a record together. Yes, indeed. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's have a call for that. Next, and I'm sure I've mentioned these all before. Andrea Parker, who has the Touch and Bass and Aperture record labels, collaborating with Julia Kent, the cellist. I think that they could do some miraculously marvelous music together, and let's see that happen somehow. Okay, then, they're not, again, some of these, it's my dream. It's not likely to happen at all. But then next, 7 would be Robin Guthrie, he of Cocteau Twins fame, and Robert Hampson, he of Loop and Main, M-A-I-N, fame. Why not? Put them together. Have a little soup, musical soup of, you know, a little Robin Guthrie seasoning, a little Robert Hampson seasoning. I'm sure sonically they could weave their textures together. Okay, next is a more large-scale thing. It's not really a duo thing, although Plone is a duo. The two Mikes, Mike Johnston and Mike Bainbridge. and that's Plone, P-L-O-N-E. I say that they should collaborate with Stereolab. Stereolab is kind of in this like together at this point stage in their career. It's kind of like a floating on a break, not on a break, hiatus, touring somewhere but not touring elsewhere, which, you know, makes sense. But Stereolab, who have collaborated with quite a few other musicians in the past, working with Plone. Let's see what would come out of that. And next we have the wild man, Ian Svenonius. He's not a wild man. He's probably very cool to hang out with. I wouldn't mind meeting him. Ian Svenonius, solo as Escapism, and his other Chain in the Gang project and other projects, with the band main member Randall Neiman, called Fuchsia. I believe it's pronounced Fuchsia. It's spelled F-U-X-A, and it's pronounced, I believe, Fuchsia. Ian Svenonius getting together with Fuchsia. See, here's the link, right? I know that Ian Svenonius was a big fan of the Alan Vega Martin Rev project. You all know the name. And Fuchsia did a little EP of cover versions of that very famous musical duo. So, hence the suggestion. Okay, last but not least, Beck and Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom, he of Experimental Audio Research and Spectrum, and of course Spaceman 3. Why not put them together, see what comes out of it? Right? So, above and beyond all this stuff, a couple of other little extra tag-ons are collaborations that have already taken place. One being Robert Smith and Steven Severin as The Glove. Could we get Glove the sequel, Glove Volume 2? Wouldn't that be groovy? And also, tangentially, stream of consciously, how about supposedly there exists tape of Brian Eno when he was producing Devo for their first album, Q, Are We Not Men? A, We Are Devo. He did what he felt were vocal tracks with kind of like suggesting how maybe the song should be sung. There exists tape, it's out there, of Brian Eno doing the vocals for all the songs on the first Devo album. Let's have that come out. And with that, I'm sure to think of others. Perhaps there will be a volume 2 someday, but for now, the collaborative video is sailing off from my brain to your brain to the collective brain. Universal goodbye. Whoosh.